As a Catholic priest, as this inquiry goes on, and it's going to be some pretty horrible evidence, I think, tendered in Ballarat over the next 3 weeks about basically a pedophile ring of Catholic priests. How do you convince others that the Catholic Church is an institution worth belonging to in the face of all this?
Well, that's a huge challenge for all of us, even those of us who are Catholic priests, Fran. I mean, it's been
Are people asking
dreadful.
you that question?
Constantly. And I'm just back from 10 months in Boston, where I've been in a church situation where, of course, they went through all this 10 years before, and they're still recovering from it. And we as Australians with the Catholic Church just have to face the fact that it's been far more dreadful than anyone acknowledged. We needed the help of the state, of a Royal Commission, and now the Royal Commission is exposing things which were far more horrendous than any of us had any idea about. In the past, I think people like myself rationalised it, well, the Catholic Church was an institution with a lot of schools, a lot of welfare services, so of course you'd expect a higher rate of offending, but the statistics seem to be even more horrific than that. And part of it has been that closed system of clericalism, and definitely there's a need for greater transparency in terms of the operation of the show.
So that closed system of clericalism to some degree is still in place. Celibacy is still in place. The power structures of the church are still in place. It's a patriarchal organisation which is still in place. Why would anyone want to belong to it?
Sure, it takes enormous faith to do so. We had the Royal Commission find that Bishop Bill Morris from Toowoomba dealt with things very honourably, employed an ex-High Court judge to deal with things. Well, guess what? He'd been sacked by the Vatican because he was thought to be too pastoral and not theological enough. Cardinal Pell, who was found to have fallen short, he's been promoted. So it's difficult stuff for us.
Do you think the church is well run these days?
No, not at all. And we're in for even more difficult times because, of course, the number of people who are joining the clergy are even less, and therefore the talent pool that we've got is less than it was.
So what's the future for the church? How does it...
It's very bleak, and it requires extraordinary faith. But what you find, at least I find, with people in the parishes is that they say, look, we want to put this behind us. It's been a dreadful blight. We want to commit ourselves more than anybody else to justice, transparency and compassion because they're the very principles of the gospel.
And as you say, Cardinal Pell has been promoted to the Vatican. What signal does that send?
It sends a very bad signal, not only to people like you, but to people like me.
What do you mean?
I mean that it's very difficult to operate in a church institution where it is seen that there has not been a need to respond to the very adverse findings that were made by the Royal Commission in the Ellis case.
Do you think George Pell gets it now?
I don't know. He's now in another job.